Hello, welcome to Levant TV headlines. The Al-Qaeda-linked Nusra Front has withdrawn from frontline positions against Islamic State north of Aleppo and ceded them to other militants, leaving an area of northern Syria. 6 US F-16 fighter jets arrived at an airbase in southern Turkey on Sunday to join the US-led coalition fight against the Islamic State militants. Saudi and Russian foreign ministers al-Jubeir and Sergei Lavrov will meet on Moscow on Tuesday to discuss global energy markets and the Middle East crisis, including the war in Syria and the threat of the Islamic State. Yemeni loyalist forces recaptured Zinjibar, the capital of Abyan province, from Houthi rebels and their allies, as well as a coastal town, as they pressed an advance from the second city of Aden. And 21 people have died and 66 others were hospitalized with exhaustion as soaring temperatures and high humidity hit Cairo and other parts in Egypt. Now let's have a look at the top headlines in today's newspapers in the Middle East. Starting from the UAE, the Khalij Times leads reporting that the country has allocated 300 million dirhams to scale up its relief operations and development programs in Yemen. The paper also reports that Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi won the support of his cabinet on Sunday to eliminate a layer of senior government positions, part of a push to reduce corruption and save money in the face of mounting unrest. From Beirut, the Daily Star leads reporting that military investigative judge Riyad Abu Ghaida issued an arrest warrant Monday for Eli Daw, who was charged last week along with his fugitive cousin Hisham Daw with involvement in the murder of Army officer Rabia Kahil. The paper also reports that US consulate in Istanbul came under gunfire on Monday and at least 8 people were killed in a wave of separate attacks on Turkish security forces. From Cairo, the Egypt Independent leads reporting that 3 police have been wounded after a bomb exploded under a traffic sentry post near a Cairo courthouse, and the latest in a series of attacks to hit the Egyptian capital. The paper also reports that Cairo Criminal Court has sentenced 10 people to death over charges of forming an Al-Qaeda-affiliated terrorist cell led by the brother of Al-Qaeda's chief. Now let's have a look at the top Middle East headlines from papers here in London. The Telegraph leads reporting that Iraq's Prime Minister unveiled a bold plan on Sunday to abolish 3 vice presidential posts and the offices of 3 deputy premiers, hoping to cut spending amid mass protests against his government as the Islamic State group still holds a third of his nation. Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi's cabinet backed the plan, which still needs parliamentary approval, but it's unclear whether it could end the endemic corruption in Iraq's political system. In The Guardian, a report on the infant mortality rate in Gaza has risen for the first time in more than half a century. A new study by the United Nations Aid Agency for Palestinian Refugees has said. It said also that natal mortality in Gaza, the number of babies who die before 4 weeks old, rose from 12 per 1,000 live births in 2008 to 20.3 in 2013. The Independent leads reporting that US President Barack Obama says a constructive relationship with Iran could be a byproduct of the deal to limit its nuclear program, but it won't happen immediately, if at all. Mr. Obama told CNN in an interview aired on Sunday that Iran's nuclear problem must be dealt with first. Now let's have a look at the top Middle East headlines in international papers. The International New York Times reports that an Iranian court could hand down a verdict in the trial of Jason Rezaian, the Washington Post correspondent charged with espionage, within a week, his lawyer told reporters on Monday, as a 4th and possibly final hearing in the case was held in Tehran. The lawyer Layla Ahsan told reporters that this was the final hearing and said that Iranian law called for a verdict to be issued by next Monday. And finally, Germany's Deutsche Welle reports that several people, including police officers, have been hurt in a bomb attack at an Istanbul police station. Turkish media has said. In another attack in the city, 2 assailants have fired shots at the US consulate. That was it for today's headlines. For more updates, please visit levant.tv. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.